first cohort, commanded, came to a halt, aligned their shields, prepared throughout. The cornu sounded, the horn called out, the auxiliaries responded, slingers no doubt, quick at the ready, there they stood, prepared to propel, bullets that could reach as far as 500 yards, bringing death from above for the cause. The demons, airborne, did turn away, spotting the slingers, they knew right away. A hail of bullets would soon be inbound, aimed for the horde, screeching throughout. The horn did sound, the command rang true, the slingers let loose, at the demons in view. They aimed for those airborne and those on the ground, as the sound of the bullets caused the demons to bound. The ones on the ground, on the Styx just ahead, took to the air, leaping, they fled. The bullets flew true, impacting their flesh, knocking them down, the demons then bled. Their blood ran black, across the ground, as they fell from the sky, crying aloud. Pelted by bullets, they did cry out, puncturing their wings, knocking many out. But most were far from injuries of death, incapable of flight, most were rendered, by the gaping holes their wings did sustain. They hobbled and leaped, but flight could not sustain. They cried out in anger as they did amass, on the Styx, by the thousands they did gather, and prepared an attack with bloodthirst indeed as they began to come forward, on all fours, as it were. The cornu sounded once again, as the slingers continued their barrage. The commander barked orders as the size of the enemy before them became apparent, for its numbers were sprawling, expanding off both sides the Styx and charging toward them in the thousands. Loose the pylons at will, shouted the 3rd Legion's legit as the prefect of the cornu sounded off. The horn call was heard by all, the troops almost immediately reacting as the tribune's cornu men echoed the order. The pylons flew as the enemy came into range, most of the demons trampling the ground in a run resembling a gallop that was far from slow. The pylons descended from the sky, skewering many a demon that was caught on the charge, for they did not stop to take cover but instead used their superior skills to dodge and duck out of the way of many a pylon. The smoke did thicken from a blaze far away, and the sky went black for miles in each way. The legit shouted commands and the corners did echo them as the 3rd Legion took up a defensive formation. The first cohort formed a Testudo as the rest of the cohorts unleashed their pylons when the demons came into range. The first cohort was immediately swamped, covered by a horde of demons on the sides and above, but the Testudo formation, a wall of shields above and at the sides, made the legionaries' formation almost impenetrable. They struck out with their short swords, piercing many a demon, sending them reeling in pain as they fell dead upon the shields above or piled up beside the edges of the Testudo. Legionaries began to fall as both demon and soldiers stumbled upon the dead, leaving them open to attacks as the formation began to sway. The Legion moved in to support the first cohort, forming a shield wall on the sides that expanded into a wedge off to the sides of the road into the difficult terrain. The second cohort supported the first cohort's flanks, initiating the shield wedge with the Legion as support. They moved out on the sides in the best formation that they could, for the rough lava plain did not make it easy. Tedious task it was. They hurled pylons as they went, killing the demons out in front, easing the first cohort's strain as they did assault. The 3rd, 4th and 5th cohorts rotated in with their tribunes' whistle calls, as they replaced the exhausted, wounded and dead of the first cohort, moving the first cohort toward the back of the Legion as the 3rd, 4th and 5th cohorts took their place. The whistle calls from the tribune made the rotation maintainable for some time as the troops' endurance and mettle was tested every time it was their turn to serve several minutes on the front line. The ground below the lead cohort became a bloody mess as even the hobnailed Kalagi sandals they wore began to slip at the worst time. The second cohort was replaced by the fifth as the fighting on the flanks became fierce. The third legion's legit, General Patton, turned to his retainers and said, "We have committed more than half of the legion to this assault. It is time for us to join the fray. I know you, my retainers, will fight bravely and do as you must to save the day. Prefect of the legit, the legion is yours. I am going to sway this battle our way. We will assist the Vanguard up front and slay the demons. We will win this battle this very day." The darkness suddenly broke, the smoke fading away, as the sky regained its reddish hue of the lower realms of day. The cornu sounded as the 6th, 7th and 8th cohorts came up to relieve the 3rd, 4th and 5th cohorts from the fray, and the legit, I, and the retainers moved forward, each of us awaiting our first blood of the day. I called upon my spirit animal, a wolf as it was, hoping to awaken the Alfhedna, the spirit of that day, when wolves did inhabit the bodies of men, as worship that brought the Berserker gang, a Norse tradition of the foray. A type of berserker, more cooperative they were, working in packs, so they say, unlike the berserkers known to be bears, whom made men wary to this day. But all was silent, not a sound to be heard from the spirit I called upon, to my dismay, and we made our way forward with the 6th cohort we did, guarded on our flanks by the 7th and 8th cohorts on the wedge of this fray. We passed by the wounded being escorted to the rear. They bore deep claw marks, some of quite severe. The legionaries were still in spirits, fighting on for the cause, and were happy to see their commander came to fight at the front. The legit, General Patton, shouted words of encouragement as the men fought before him and the battle we sought. We worked ourselves in, the tribune's whistle did sound, the cohort rotated at 5 minutes marked so loud, marked the legionaries that survived would rotate out while the wounded and dead were retrieved no doubt. The rotation was key to the legion's success, increasing endurance and each soldier's prowess as they fought for the allotted time decreed by the centurion or tribune, whichever was the need. 5 minutes at the front does not sound long, but battle is tense and can drain the strong. The break of the whistle brings a pleasure for sure. The men share tactics as they await their turn, exchanging what they've learned from the previous turns, and this can go on for quite a while. Against normal men, the enemy would fall, but these are demons of an unnatural state, their endurance unending, their stamina does not abate. They attack from above, with wicked claws, awaiting exposure, at our necks they claw. They only fall victim to our precise blows, they are unmatched by anything we know. With the commander beside me, our turn did come, the whistle did blow, we rotated as one, amidst a battle with hell's fury, the commander and retainers entered proudly. I know it's unheard of such a thing, commander at the front, absurdity, but as trained soldiers, hewn for success, such an act was of prowess, was of the best. It brought camaraderie to answer the call, when a commander stepped up and joined us all. To be continued, the Dragon Oracle has spoken.